So mitral valve disease is probably the #1 heart condition that I see as an ER doctor, so I'm super excited to talk about it. You ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready for science.
Before we talk about mitral valve disease specifically, let's define what a valve is. So in the heart, there are these things called valves, and they're essentially doorways. When the heart beats, these doorways open to let blood go forward, and then they close to prevent blood from going backwards, kind of like a bouncer.
What's up, bro? You on the list?
For the sake of simplicity, whenever we talk about disease of a particular valve, what we mean is for one reason or another, that valve, when it closes, it doesn't close all the way and there's a little bit of a gap. And through that gap, blood can leak backwards and go in the opposite direction. Thinking back to the bouncer, it's like a lazy bouncer that lets anyone into the club.
Y'all ready to get into the hottest nut club? I don't care about this list. Come on!
Now, eventually what's going to happen is over time, that gap is going to get wider and wider and wider and let more and more blood go backwards, which eventually overloads the heart and causes it to go into failure. So the mitral valve is this valve right here. It's between the left atrium and the left ventricle. When this valve doesn't close all the way, more and more blood builds up in the left atrium until the left atrium runs out of storage space. Once that happens, the heart goes into failure and stores all that extra blood in the lungs like a traffic jam. And that's why we get that wet-sounding cough and troubles breathing. That fluid accumulation doesn't happen right away, but how long it takes for that to happen depends on a lot of different factors. Some pets actually don't even go into failure and they just have a murmur for their whole life. While we can't technically diagnose this condition without an ultrasound of the heart, most of us clinically will assume it's this condition if we have a dog that's under 30 pounds and hear a murmur on the left side of the heart. This condition is much more prevalent in smaller breed dogs, and if your vet does hear that murmur, they're probably going to recommend taking x-rays of the heart so we can monitor the size, because we generally don't start medications until the heart starts getting bigger in size.